Who was this?
This is for you. If you want to say a few words about the appointee.
Who's going to kick me? Right?
know what I subscribed for. Hey, Nancy.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'd like to call the regular meeting to order. The time now is 7:01. The requirements of the Sunshine Law. This meeting was advertised in the Burlington County Times on January 5th of 2017. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Once again, I'd like to welcome all guests. Thank you for being here. At this time is a moment of silence. Before we go into our moment of silence, I would like to ask for a moment of professional courtesy, I guess, if you will, or podium privilege, and just simply say that this morning we woke up and our nation once again was in some degree of turmoil. Some 58 souls would lose their lives due to someone feeling as though he could do so. Well over 500 people have been injured and in some form, from being very critical to some have been released from the hospital. But once again, our country has taken a pulse, and it's not a good one. In addition to that, we found ourselves already on a slippery slope just from weather incidents around not only America, but in fact the world. As we take our moment of silence, can we all just pray for those dear souls who lost their lives? As the governor of Nevada said this morning, that some mother, some brother, some father, some sister, some child, some niece, and he ran the gamut, will not come home as a result of what happened. And we need to be mindful of that. So let's keep those who lost their lives in our hearts and in our prayers, the families of those and all those injured. And just as importantly, the law enforcement that now they had to go into operational law enforcement, EMS. It's not easy to go to what has been described as a war zone or crime scene and have to save people's lives. I'm also reminded of Houston. I'm reminded of Louisiana. I'm reminded of Florida. Most recently, I'm reminded of Puerto Rico and Mexico. It's just one of those things that, while I will not necessarily go religious, that we should all keep in mind all those affected. And I'm asking for a special prayer for one of our own, Sergeant Caulfield, who has been called up by way of the National Guard service. And I believe he left out yesterday, the governor today. The governor activated him, and he is part of part of a deployment of men and women that will be headed over that way. So let's keep all of that in mind and our thoughts and our prayers. Thank you. Thank you. Reminded also that my good friend Lorraine Hatcher, I believe the deputy mayor over in Riverside, at this very moment, they're holding a prayer vigil, as many communities around the nation are doing so. If I were not here at our township meeting, chances are I would be over there. So we keep all those in mind as well. Moving right along, roll call.
Committeeman Lopez.
Present.
Committeewoman Smith-Hartman.
Here.
Committeewoman Talisa.
Present.
Committeeman Wisniewski.
Here.
Mayor Daniels.
Here. Approve tonight's agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Lopez.
Yes.
Smith-Hartman.
Yes.
Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. Regular meeting minutes of 9/18/2017.
Motion. Second.
Is there any discussion? There being none, roll call.
Lopez.
Yes.
Smith-Hartman.
Yes.
Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes, thank you. Monthly reports and communications are posted on the bulletin board in the foyer area. Scheduled appointments tonight, there are none. At this time, I would like to open the meeting to the public for comment on agenda items only. We're open. We're closed. There is no old business tonight. There is no new business tonight. Moving right into resolutions. Resolution 120-17, payment of vouchers. This resolution approves the payment of bills through 9/29/2017. What say you?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lopez.
Yes.
Smith Hartman.
Yes.
Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. Resolution 121-17, Chapter 159. This resolution permits the insertion of an item of special revenue into the budget. The amount received is $5,500 and is for distracted driving.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lopez.
Yes.
Smith Hartman.
Yes.
Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. Resolution 122-17, express opposition to legislative proposals. The resolution has been endorsed by New Jersey municipal clerks due to the significant financial and administrative burdens these bills would place on municipalities with respect to OPRA and OPMA.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Lopez.
Yes.
Smith Hartman.
Yes.
Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. Resolution 123-17, appoint a Public Works Director.
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Oh.
I think, take a moment to introduce.
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to
Okay.
say.
Here?
Motion to appoint
Yes, he
Parker.
is.
Motion to appoint Parker Smith. Motion to appoint Parker C. Smith III
Ladies,
as Public Works Director for West Hampton Township.
do I have a second?
You have a second.
Okay. So at this time, I would like to, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Parker Smith, Parker C. Smith III is with us here tonight. I'd like to thank you for coming out. Parker will be coming to us from West Deptford Township. He has a background both in Public Works and Water Sewer Department. When we looked at his resume, his certifications and skills are very replete, and he is thorough, and we all felt as though that his talents are rich, and he will bring us some great leadership, innovation, and great ideas to our Public Works Department. Many of you at forums like this have said that we have a great Public Works Department. We expect Parker to contribute to that and continue the great work and service of that department. Parker, would you like to say anything?
I would just like to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to enter to me and all the residents to come out and be part of your team and part of your community.
Awesome, thank you. As Mr. Wisniewski, I'm sorry,
Wisniewski.
Who's
he?
Freudian slip, sir. Committeeman,
Wisniewski.
I need a drink of water perhaps. Would you like to add anything as liaison?
No, other than Parker's very qualified to come to this town. He seemed very excited to join West Hampton, and excited on bringing him aboard and making things happen.
I'd like to say one quick comment if I can.
Thank you, Committeeman Wisniewski.
I think what I really enjoyed about the interview, we interviewed, at least we stood for the second round of interviews and interviewed 3, and I know there was quite a few other that Committeeman Wisniewski and Maria interviewed, was that Mr. Smith was really all in for the township, has experience, unquestionable experience, but gave a vibe of kind of, I'm willing to mentor some young guys that are in the town right now. I'm not going to be here forever. And I think, we want to see our current employees developed, and we do have good talent here in our town. So I really was drawn to that, and I'm looking forward to Mr. Smith working with our current employees. We've got, I think, one of the hardest working Department of Public Works around, and to think that we can even still find a way to raise the bar even a little higher, that's exciting for me as a resident, as a taxpayer, and I look forward to you working with our men and women in the department and developing some more leaders in the township from within. So congratulations and welcome.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. There being no further comment from the...
I did have one comment. We're not related.
Smith.
Smith, Andre Denise Smith.
Okay, understood. Roll call, please.
Lopez.
Yes.
Smith Hartman.
Yes.
Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. So I'll just read it out. Whereas the code, Township of West Hampton provides for a Public Works Director, and the Township Committee desires to appoint the same. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee, Township of West Hampton, and the County of Burlington, and the State of New Jersey, that the Township Committee hereby appoints Parker Smith III as Public Works Director, commencing October the 23rd, 2017. Welcome aboard, and thank you.
If I can add, to get 5 votes from this committee, it's not the easiest thing, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And we welcome your wife.
Absolutely, thank you. Resolution 124-17, Put the Brakes on Fatalities Day. This resolution supports Put the Brakes on Fatalities Day to be held on October the 10th, 2017.
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Lopez.
Yes.
Smith Hartman.
Yes.
Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes.
No, it's not.
It's some prime points in here, so I would ask the public to bear with me for a second. Whereas October the 10th, 2017 have been declared Put the Brakes on Fatalities Day by the West Hampton Township, and whereas across the nation, traffic crashes caused 35,092 fatalities in 2015 and are the leading cause of death for young people ages 15 to 34. And whereas in New Jersey, 603 individuals lost their lives in traffic crashes in 2016. And whereas pedestrian-related crashes accounted for 27.5% of the state's traffic fatalities, while 19% of all fatal crashes involved a distracted driver. And it goes on to speak to some more. Whereas 66 motorcyclists, 18 bicyclists, and 166 pedestrians were killed in New Jersey in traffic-related crashes in 2016. And whereas safe and driving behaviors such as buckling up every ride, obeying posted speed limits, stopping for pedestrians in crosswalks, and using crosswalks when walking, avoiding aggressive driving behaviors, never driving impaired, wearing proper safety gear while riding a motorcycle or bicycle, and focusing solely on driving by avoiding distractions can dramatically reduce the number of traffic-related injuries and deaths. Now, therefore, the Township of West Hampton does hereby proclaim October the 10th, 2017, as Put the Brakes on Fatalities Day, and call upon everyone to put these life-saving behaviors into practice to improve safety on the roadways in our community and indeed throughout the state. Thank you. Moving right along. Ordinance 14-2017, amend the code of the Township of West Hampton, Chapter 232, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 1, General Provisions, Section 232-11, Turn Prohibitions. This is a second reading. This ordinance establishes a prohibition against left turns at the Springside Road, County Road 635, Access Drive located on Block 203, Lot 5, and that's at the Wawa Convenience Store. For those residents who are in town and who are familiar, it would be on Springside and Wood Lane Road, that intersect right there. What say you?
Motion.
Second.
Any
Second reading, isn't it?
I'll open to the public, since this is a second reading. Thank you.
Nope. Okay,
No?
close it.
Closed to the public. Any discussion? No? No? Roll call, please.
Lopez,
Yes.
Smith Hartman,
Yes.
Talisa,
Yes.
Wisniewski,
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. Thank you. There's no correspondence that I have. Maria, do you have any correspondence? Madam Clerk, any correspondence?
No.
No? No? Dates to remember, October 8th, Rancocas Nature Center, 40th anniversary. October the 12th is the groundbreaking ceremony for the Willows at West Hampton, which is at 11 a.m. October the 14th is West Hampton PTO Fun Run. The rain date will be October the 15th, 2017. November the 14th through the 16th is the New Jersey League of Municipalities Annual Conference in Atlantic City. Are there any other dates?
Mayor, can I read a list that I omitted
Yes, ma'am.
that came from the minutes from last month?
Thank you.
October 4th, National Coffee with a Cop Day. We have October 12th, West Hampton Township Fire EMS Open House. October 14th, Rancocas Ham Dinner, 4 to 7 p.m. October 27th, West Hampton Recreation's Fall Festival, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Sports Complex. October 27th, Susan G. Komen fundraiser bingo. The police are partnering with them to be held at Crescent Temple Shrine. November 5th, there's a 5K walk and run at Great Adventure for Susan G. Komen. The police are also going to be attending that. November 6th, West Hampton Middle School Veterans Day celebration.
Okay. That'll all get added on the website?
Pardon me?
It's on the website,
What is?
what you just read?
No, they were from, they're in the minutes.
Okay.
They're in the minutes. But I should have added all those dates to the agenda as
Okay,
well. I
gotcha.
carried them over, but I
Okay,
didn't.
okay.
And I would like to just remind the public or make the public aware that this Wednesday, or is it Thursday? Coffee with a Cop?
Third-
Right. Okay.
You said,
Okay.
We're all going to be at Springside. You only have one.
Thank you, LT.
Come on.
Do we have any other dates? No further dates. At this time, I'd like to
Yeah.
open the meeting to the public for comment. Okay, so I think I saw Juanita, your hand go up first, and then Ms. Berkeley.
Could I just ask that the day of the week be added to events?
Good idea.
You don't have to go back to the calendar to see what day of the week
Very good idea.
it is. Thank you.
Ms. Berkeley?
Congratulate Mr. Lopez. This week was announced for times that he was chosen as top 25 emerging leaders in Burlington County for this year, and it's quite an honor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Are there any other public comment? Sir, Darren? Yeah, you scare me, Gary. Good evening.
I wanted to address the committee about some tree trimming operations that were conducted on September 11th, 12th, and the 14th on Springside Road on the south side, reversing from Rolling Hills to what I observed to be a marble. When I observed the tree trimming operation, I sort of assumed it was the county that was conducting the tree trimming operation. I actually telephoned the administrator in the holiday and asked them if they were performing the tree trimming. They said no, it was most likely the utility, i.e. PLC and G. And the question I had, and what I wanted to bring up to you all, was the fact that no notice was provided to the homeowner that tree trimming was in effect on those dates. That struck me as a little bit odd because on the website that PSNG has, it says that they, quote, send out tweets on their Twitter feed, as well as door hanger tags in the neighborhoods where it's affected. And when I telephoned the contact number, there is an individual, I sort of guessed the one that I would actually end up talking to, left a voicemail, no return phone call. I called the next day, ended up leaving another message, and then I actually ended up calling the customer service line to ask about what was going on with the tree trimming. And what I was told was that, and this is, I guess, my question, if you would all be able to understand, is what is the definition of an emergency? Because what I was told is that because there was a power outage in our area on August 20th, that in fact constituted, quote, an emergency. And therefore that abrogates their responsibility to conduct any notice whatsoever of any property owner. Now, that's more than 20 plus days since the power outage occurred. I guess my question is, as a township, can we get a little bit more precise understanding of their notice requirements of property owners? And specifically what they constitute or what they term, or identify what an emergency is? You mean, not it can be 24 hours, 48, 72 tops, then they have to be under the burden of noticing property owners. So I'm hoping we might be able to help with that. They wouldn't tell me, I'm a nobody, you maybe be able to get an answer on that.
Okay.
The reason why I called the county is because I thought it was a county operation, and then when the county called me back and said, no, it's most likely PSE&G, I went to PSE&G's website to see, quote, the schedule of tree trimming. It's 2 pages, it's a PDF, and there's really practically no information that we can glean, that I was able to glean, of, quote, where they're actually conducting tree trimming. On page 2 of that notice is that West Hampton is, quote, in the service area. So what I'm asking you is if we, as a township, collectively can get a better bus description of the tree trimming operations, specifically dates, area to provide, and locations. That way we don't have to play detective and figure out what the heck is cutting trees. I think that would be helpful. And then also, maybe the chief, because he's here, do we have a policy on posting township police department vehicles where there's work being conducted on the public roads?
Policy for the outside work?
Yeah. I mean, if we see utility crews out there, I mean, if the township police department post a vehicle at all?
Yeah, what they do is they hire police officers to do traffic control out there, and, depending on how many officers they need, anywhere from 1 to sometimes, 4.
There was no police those 3 days that I observed, so I don't know if the threshold for police.
We don't have any policy. If you're asking, we have a policy that says, hey, every time a utility is in our town, then you must hire them. That's not there. Most of the time, they do hire, especially if they're
Disrupting
traffic. I'm assuming what you're talking about, they probably subdivision going to be off the roadway, the traffic roadway, and not holding the traffic pattern.
I just wanted to double check on that. And then also, the name of the contractor was provided on their equipment, but all they had was a sign that said work zone ahead. There was no other information on that sign as to who the contractor was and or the contact person for anyone to reach out to. So I'm thinking, maybe for good governance, we might be able to append some information to that sign saying tree trimming done by such and such contractor, or contact information at the township, call this number, or the utility, call this number. I think that would be helpful, but that's something that I think I could see if they would agree to. And then, when they conducted the tree trimming, they left debris, and that was on a Tuesday, on the 12th, and the next day it was raining. They didn't come back to pick up the debris, so I called to find out when they're going to come and remove the debris. And what I was told by the customer service agent is that the township removed the debris. They work close with the public works groups, works very closely with the utility companies. In other words, we had a chipper truck or someone at debris gathering kind of operated the vehicle with people to actually do that. It's directly contradicts what the PSCD website says. And they maybe we can sort of see, what I was told was accurate. Was the township, you all, do tree trimming?
Can I say one thing?
No, and I'll contact my contact at PSC&G. Where was this, on Springside Road, you said?
Yes, between, Rolling Hills and Mara.
Okay.
On the 11th, 12th.
I got the dates, I just didn't get the location. Yeah, I'll contact my government relations contact and get information on all this. But as far as I know, we have no agreement to pick up their debris.
I was also surprised. And then the last thing was, and this is interesting, from their website, their vegetation management personnel are knowledgeable about the latest technologies in utility arboriculture. I don't know what utility arboriculture is. I think it has something to do with trimming the branches that dangle near the wires. However, in my opinion, public comment, I think if you walk the bike path between Rolling Hills and Mara, it looks like I've seen out of Tim Burton.
Because of the debris?
Well, it's just the way that they decided which branches they would favor, which ones.
There's some weird-looking trees out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. So I think wouldn't it make sense to apply some, quote, aesthetic tree trimming principles?
Yes.
Gary-
There's no symmetry whatsoever when you walk up and down that bike path. I mean, the branches are overhead.
It's like that way in every town. They just want it away from the
They're
road.
occupying or using the bike path. So, maybe this is the job of Public Works. I don't know. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Can you, that's what I was going to say, can you share that with us?
And what I was going to say through the mayor, I'm sure our new director of public works would want a copy of that as well. And the good thing is that we hired the new director, believing that a lot of these issues, you'd be surprised how they get mitigated once there's a little relationship building and they get to know who's the director in here. I'm sure the director is going to want to know who's cutting trees in our town, who's operating, and he develops a relationship with the utilities so that we can alleviate Maria from some of this type of stuff. I would expect that the Public Works Director will start knowing the players that are working on our roads and our streets in the town. So moving forward, I think this time next year, you won't have those issues.
Good answer.
Yeah. And I was going to, Parker, speak to you, but October the 23rd, we'll have that conversation.
Welcome aboard.
We'll give you a reprieve. Gary, thank you for giving us that and bringing it to our attention. The only thing I can say is, it's usually that company called the Splund AS. It's a real strange sounding name. It's new to me. Generally speaking, where I've seen them do remediation work, and most of the time, a lot of that work has been done on Beverly Rancocas Road in Willingboro, because they have a lot of overhanging trees. I do know that if it's the area in question on Springside Road between Rolling Hills and Amera, there have been some complaints from some residents over there that when you come out and if you were to make a left, because of those overhanging trees, you could not see clear of the road. So hopefully it has done it has remediated that issue. But in terms of leaving the debris out there and it being a township issue, from that perspective, that's a little new to me. So hopefully you gave that to us and we'll be able to get some answers. Thank you. Any other public comment?
It's kind of a question. The roll-off, the change to the left, is that the type of thing that the toll would be to notify people in the area?
There would be signage that would be installed.
Right, and people, when they're used to being somewhere, going somewhere, don't notice a new sign.
Yeah. What I would tell you, yeah,
Yeah. Let Joe answer it.
I've tried to tell many people about this, so is it just for the police, or is it for the change, or what's the purpose? I'm not totally clear, but I mean,
Well, what I would hope to see, and I'm not familiar with what they plan on doing, but I hope that they put a median there so that people that are coming up Springside can pull in, and if you come out that way, you don't have the option. At least that's what I'd like to see. They shouldn't leave it, where somebody can make a left-hand turn. So hopefully that when they fix it, you pull out, you don't even have the option to.
so it won't be effective until they
Yeah.
oh, okay, super well,
Right.
okay, or in fact, it would be
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, it doesn't take effect yet.
No.
Chief, did you want to add
I
something?
can just add on to that, just to answer the question. We will definitely, place it out on next to the final things to be. And also we'll have our, traffic sign out there displaying that there's a new left-hand turn.
Yeah. And, I mean, right.
To warn everyone, be conscious of that. And, that's what I would say.
I mean, part of the good news is that there'll be a whole new footprint, if you will, with the main building being knocked back a little bit further, and that's where the pumps will be. So logistically, I would imagine the engineering would almost make it obvious that it's not a natural left, that it would, as the committeeman said, that a natural ingress to make a right come in, but not a natural left to come out. You would actually have to go out onto Wood Lane Road. Thank you. Ms. Perkins?
Would turning left into there, if you're coming from Burlington? Because there's still that crossing over 2 lanes of traffic trying to get into there, turning left on Springside.
Right. I don't have an absolute answer on that, because I would imagine that it not only is traffic coming from Burlington, but it would also be the traffic making the right-hand turn from Levitt that becomes Wood Lane Road coming from Willenboro. You said traffic coming down a left-hand turn into the Wawa, correct?
Yes, from the Burlington.
Right, yeah. Right, so it's straight and, right, correct.
We can, next meeting, if you all like, bring, we have large drawings of it, of what's it gonna look like finally. So we can bring those.
Any other public comment? Sir? Can you just please state your address and your name?
Joe answered.
I'm a 37-year resident here in Northampton. I grew up here. I have the pleasure of raising my family now here. And I want to thank the gentleman who spoke before me and brought up the mention of public notification. Recently, we found out on our own that there is a felon now living in our development, and on my street in particular. He is a 2-time offender, 2-time parole violation, and just got done serving an 8-year sentence. By now, I believe most of you have heard about this, and I don't need to necessarily go into the details of the crimes that were committed. However, it's a very frightening scenario that no one was notified that this is now in our backyard. It's within the very densely populated area of young children, less than a mile away from Holiday School, probably about less than a mile away from the child care of 531. My first question is, why was no one notified?
Well, I'm not one to necessarily defer. However, legally and probably out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to allow my solicitor to answer that.
Yeah, and the deference that you're sending to me, Mr. Mayor, is because I think we know. You didn't state what the crimes were, but I know it was discussed a little bit, so I think we know what it is you're talking about, and the offenses, at least as I understand them, are things that will be related to New Jersey's Megan's Law. Is that correct? And what Megan's Law does is sets up a notification process for certain offenders, a registry process for other offenders, and what it also does is it takes over anything that the municipality does, so it's really a state process. There's not much they can or can't really say about notification other than referring you to the website that the state offers. And I did see this individual on the website, so it is there. He, I guess, doesn't meet the higher scrutiny to actually get public notice mailed out to the neighbors.
So, if I can, through the mayor, what we could be looking at is maybe we should have a conversation with the legislators. Our local District 8 legislator is currently Maria Rodriguez-Gregg and Joe Howarth, to see if maybe Megan's Law needs another look at, to provide residents with notice when Class 2 offenders are...
Was the township notified of this? Did you guys know that he was moving in?
No, we weren't notified.
We don't get the notice.
And Todd,
No violations living within schools?
Apparently, from what we've been instructed, there's no violations.
Okay, so there's no violation in, in fact, you don't have to let me know about any of here. And there's no violation in putting our whole school, basically, evidence. As well as middle school, because it's hard to talk to the town right now. You need to do something in the middle school and address it with the children. They have many questions, they have many fears.
and they're all coming home with questions that none of us honestly can answer, because we apparently don't have the same rights. This gentleman is being protected, well past what we are. So then my next question is, what are you going to do to make sure my neighborhood is safe and my children are safe? They are right inside this group that he violated. And it seems not to strike anyone other than myself and a few that I have asked to come here tonight to be a problem. So I ask you, what are you going to do to make sure this doesn't happen?
Mr. Mayor, I wanted to amend one statement that I told you earlier. According to the statute, there should have been notice, not to the township, but there should have been notice to the schools. So the schools should have received a notice about this. Am I wrong, Mr. Solicitor, as far as Class 2?
Tier 2, from what I've gathered, from what you guys have told me, it would be a Tier 2 situation for this offender. And Tier 2, at least as far as I understand, again, it's a state process, but in addition to law enforcement agencies, schools, licensed daycare centers, and summer camps, and registered community organizations would be notified, at least according to the state statute. So, of course, it depends on distance, too, so I don't know how far the school is from this individual, but yeah, there would be a situation where schools should be notified at some point.
So in your conversations with the local school district, they weren't notified? Is that what they're telling you?
It's not my job to take days off work and come down to school to speak with them as to whether or not they were notified and what they're doing daily.
So we'll call the school and see if they were notified.
Chief and Mr. Solicitor, are there any best practices that are in place to tell community and governing bodies how to handle such situations?
Well, one thing I could add is that there are websites out there. One, or a couple specifically that I would refer the public to. One, NJSP, which is New Jersey State Police website that has a lot of information on the main law. That's NJSP.org. Also, you can, the Attorney General's website, there's a lot of information on there. And lastly, the prosecutor's office is actually the one that looks over the local police department, making all violators, and you can call them directly. I'm sure they'll answer any questions about that they can.
She brought up everything for everyone. Even my father was very young. No one lives in the area. However, I've known you since I was barely even able to look in your patrol car. How come we don't see patrol cars coming down the street, especially when you know the town living on the street?
Well, I mean, I can't answer.
I know our assets can be used in many different facets, but if this is a known violator and predator on the street, why haven't I seen one police vehicle come up and down the street yet? At least give the township the members of the street some peace of mind. I know you guys are there.
Yeah, go ahead, Chief. I would imagine. Go ahead, Chief.
No, I was just going to say, I find it hard to believe that you don't see patrol cars up and down the street. I know they patrol all the developments in this town. You did just make a statement that you don't take days off of work, that you go to certain places. So I'm assuming you're not working 24/7 to make sure the police are notified. But I can guarantee you this, I would pass that information on to make sure there are police cars on the road.
Well, then, give me the peace of mind knowing that they'll be up and down.
Listen, I'm on your side. I understand your
I know, I honestly, I know. But, I mean, unfortunately, this is a scary situation where the township has honestly let very many of us down. And that's a resounding sense of urgency and honestly, just well said. We're really disappointed. And I hope something's done about it very shortly.
I think if I can again through the mayor, I hear your concern loud and clear. I believe there's some neighbors that are here as well. Your concern is our concerns as a father, and I think we're all parents that are on this dais. We've heard word from the chief tonight that you'll see some increased police activity around the block. So leave here, and the neighbors that are here that are concerned about that, you will see that. Maureen Smith-Hartman is liaison to the school district, and I believe Maureen would be against reaching out to the superintendent of the schools to find out, A, if they were notified, as state law requires them to be notified. If they weren't notified, why weren't they notified? Because then the law's not working. If they weren't notified, we want to get to the bottom of that. If they were notified, why weren't the parents and a system put out? You don't have to? Okay, so what would be, I'm only asking Nancy because she's a former school board president, what would be the purpose of notifying the school district?
The purpose of notifying the school district is so that the teachers
I see.
Not children, but because it is
Yeah.
a privacy thing, they are not allowed to send a note home to the parents describing a name and person and telling them.
Mhm.
Yeah, the teacher's hands would be tied the same way you guys are.
Totally would be fired
Mm.
if you share that information. And it is different tiers. In one tier, you just get a notice. In another tier, you get a notice and a picture of the person. In another tier, you get a picture of the person, a notice, and told that they are not allowed to be on the property. So it depends on the tier. But I know very strictly we're not allowed to discuss it with the children. And you want to. I mean, you want to be able to tell the parents, watch out. But legally, it's kind of like the child abuse laws.
Yep.
You know, legally, we were allowed to do that, which is, tie your pants, I know, trust me, but you're right, it has to come from the legislature.
Well, thank you for that, Nancy. I think that was some really good information for all of us, and we do want to make sure, at least to know whether or not the school district was informed, and if they were informed, were teachers provided an image of what this person looks like? No? Oh, so the school district can't even tell the township? So,
He can't tell.
I can just tell you this, that all violators are mandated to register with the local police department.
got it.
And he is on the website, the gentleman you're talking about, he is on the website, so it has
They know it.
statistics on it.
They do know that.
Yeah.
Ma'am, well,
Because what? What's he say?
I agree.
We can't hear you, Ernestine.
Not really.
I can raise the mic.
I'm barely hearing you.
Closer into the mic.
are we certain the mic is on?
Is there a switch on there?
No, it's not on.
It's not on.
Testing.
Thank you. My name is Ernestine Jones. I live at 19 Brighton Road. I was told that this individual was residing right across the street from me. I have a grandchild that is under one of the age groups. Now, my daughter is a police officer in New York, or an investigator. I called her to get information. You're saying that the schools can't notify the parents, but his picture is on the website.
Right.
So is this some type of, speaking maybe directly to you, is it an odd interpretation of what the law really is? I mean, it's on the website. The car that he's supposed to be driving is there, but that's not the car that's parked in his driveway. He is a renter. He does not own the property. I spoke to the owner. He kind of sort of told me that the other individual that rents with this guy has also a problem. So we have children. I mean, the neighborhood is full of children, and everybody is saying, and you said the prosecutor, I spoke to the detective in the prosecutor's office, and she, again, said that he had rights. Well, what about our children?
Yeah. Just one question for the solicitor. We understand our limitations as elected officials. We understand the school's limitations, thanks to our former board president, Nancy, bringing us the school district's limitations. What are the limitations of residents as far as that public information that's on the website? Hitting file print, printing 100 copies, can they notify everybody then?
There's certainly no harm in them notifying one another, absolutely, and encouraging other residents to go and look at the website. And like you said, I mean, the picture is there. I saw it. I mean, it's all right there. you may run afoul if you start publishing in other places, but if you direct people to that website and spread it around town, no harm there. I mean, that's what the website's for.
So as a township, we could do a public notice, ladies, public notice of the website.
I think you can refer people to the website and leave it at that. I mean, you just got to be careful. Yeah.
Not pointing out individuals. Ladies and gentlemen, there's this website available to check whatever. Can a township not advertise the website?
Hey, can I just say something?
No,
As
thanks.
realtors,
Okay.
in our real estate contract, there is Megan's Law,
Right.
and there is a website that tells you where you can find the predators. When that Megan's Law first came out, we were told that we had to let all the neighbors, prospective purchasers know that there was a predator living on the street. And the Real Estate Commission and JAR got together and said, well, now we're really biasing people from buying houses or branding a house, so nobody will buy it. So we were told that all we can do is offer a website, and then people can choose to buy a house in that neighborhood or not buy it. It's right in your real estate contract. And it's too late for all of you.
And she's saying that because I'm also a licensed realtor. So, when you have a situation like this, I did send some letters out, and I would say, it was anonymous, just to let people aware that there was someone, in our environment. And then I was told that maybe that wasn't legal, but then I did talk to an attorney, and he said I could do that. That was my way. Okay? But I think what we're looking for is what responsibility does the township?
Yeah. We hear you.
I think we were,
Yeah.
I think that's what everyone's concerned about.
Yeah.
And what I would simply say to you is that I am sitting here sympathetic and empathetic to the cause. I'm a father of 6 children and have grandchildren myself, similar to your grandchildren. And just the thought of it totally grates me. However, as empathetic as I can be, legally, we as an elective body, and realistically, individually, I could not say, well, and then indirectly blurt out a name or an address. And if something were to happen to this individual, then I'm sure there would be an investigation, and I would be brought into the investigation.
yep.
As probably inciting something.
That's where the clarity is. If you can go to the website and you can see the picture, the name, no relative of this individual, then what is the difference between
Right.
the township notifying people that someone is living right next door, moving in right next door? I'm not understanding.
I think the issues, if I can, and we can have the solicitor speak also on it. The situation is that the government represents freedom and rights, and by the government pointing out and singling out someone, we would be ripping to shreds the constitutional rights of that individual.
You made it public already by posting his picture. His picture and name is,
See, what's,
and that's New Jersey State Police.
Yeah.
I think the solicitor will clarify the point, but you have my word, and for all those that are affected by this on that street, you have my word at least that I plan to speak with our legislator, to see if maybe we can amend Megan's Law to require Tier 2, be notified, both at the township level, both at the school level. I honestly think it's crazy that schools will get notified by law and not the township.
And our children walk to the elementary school.
Yeah.
Understood.
So this is not like they're taking the bus and then going to this.
You're right.
They walk.
This isn't just about one street, this is the whole community. Gentlemen's been seen walking through the neighborhood. It's not just about one street.
I hear you loud and clear.
But your mention was all just one street. I want your neighbors not concerned with my backyard. The driveway is that.
I hear you. I hear you.
And to answer your question, ma'am, about how silly the distinction is that you can go on the website and see that information, but why can't they give that information? And unfortunately, the question is just that's what it says in the statute, and that's what the case law say. It may not make sense, but that's what they're told that they
Right.
can't do, unfortunately.
So the only solution is a legislative solution.
And I think the chief has some additional information about what you can do. Actually, from what the chief pulled up, it sounds like you're not even allowed to tell your neighbors.
This is right from the New Jersey State Police website.
Yeah, which is I'm on
The
it.
question that was posed was, may I share information with friends? And their answer is, you may share and discuss the information you have received with those residing in your household or with anyone caring for your children at your residence in your absence. You may not share this information with anyone outside your household or not in your care. You may not copy or post a notice. Law enforcement will notify all appropriate when necessary.
So it's all,
It's really interesting because my husband was coming out and neighbors stopped him over the weekend to say, are you aware? I mean, I've lived in my house 28 years. You know, I mean, this is, like you said, we need to change the law.
We need to change the law, because technically you're all in violation of the law,
yeah.
technically.
And you see how crazy it is that it's all there, but nobody's allowed to say anything.
According to state law right now, as for the chief, no.
Mr. Johnson, you didn't say anybody's name or address, though.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think everybody recognizes, Todd, that it's crazy, but it's the law, unfortunately.
It's not something that can be fought overnight, and it's not going to turn around for good. What I'm not going to sit out and buy in my home when there's being right here to really speak about what's going on in our own township. This is one of those matters.
I hear you. What I would do, if I learned that I'm going to check my website when I go home, maybe I have a similar situation on my block, I'd be mobilizing my neighbors to do a crime watch on my block. Make sure if I'm at work and you're home, can you please watch the babies that are playing outside? And if the next door neighbors, I'd be doing that on my block. And yeah.
So that's why, I'm home, and my daughter suggested the same thing, a neighborhood watch,
Yeah.
to protect,
Yes.
our
We used to, years ago, have a very active neighborhood watch. I lived on Dover Court. I was the block captain of 6 houses, so, Todd, remember that?
Yeah. I would advise that, if you get a chance when you go home, go to njsp.org and just simply type in New Jersey Sex Offender Internet Registry or questions about sex offenders under Megan's Law. I did all of those and actually got them, and it's the same website that the chief just ran from, and it's frequently asked questions, and it kind of clarifies, and quite frankly, it probably will aggravate you more than anything, because as you read through each one of them, and it's 18 comment questions from, are there any steps that I can take to protect my family? What am I prohibited from doing? What should I do if I receive notification? Is information available on the internet? What if I move to a new neighborhood? So on and so on and so forth. And then it's frustrating. And quite frankly, tonight is the first time that I absolutely heard that this situation exists. Again, out of an abundance of caution, and it's a whole lot easier just to say the mayor, and I think everybody would know that that would be me, that the mayor said ABC or XYZ at the Township Committee meeting. Knowledge is power. Access to it is power personified. I would simply say that the best information, the best thing that we have going for us in the community is that we have the knowledge of knowing that such a situation exists. And we can be vigilant and truly, and no one should have to live like that. I get it. But our hands are tied, at least from a government standpoint. I believe that patrols, I see our patrols all over every community. I don't even think that I could legally say, Chief, I want extra patrols on that particular street. And if there are extra patrols, it just will be by coincidence.
And as
So-
Todd said, it's not just on one street. The guy walks through the whole neighborhood, so it's not just one street.
I don't know what's happening in the school system, just a suggestion, but maybe, just as Vegas, listening to about Vegas now is reinforced. Remember, I don't know about you, but in the workplace, the state gives us this little stop drop. if you can't get away, stop, drop type thing in a mass shooting incident, the best thing to do in lieu of what's going on, something that may help, is training the kids how to respond generally to someone approaching them and trying to grab them or gain custody of them.
Yep.
And the best place to do that is in the school.
Right.
And the best people to do that is possibly the police or someone else that's trained to teach that. So maybe at each level,
Not
or
bad
key
idea.
levels, if you do more training on how a kid should respond to run, to hide, to die,
To that point,
Okay.
those things, scream.
to that point on the same website that the mayor was citing, and again, it's heartbreaking as a parent to read this, are there any steps that I can take to protect my family? There is no law that can ever completely protect us. Adults need to teach children about basic safety precautions. Check with your child's school to determine whether a program is in place to teach children about strangers. Also check with the school and other locations where your child spends time on a regular basis to determine whether safety precautions are in place. And if they're not, work with your school to develop those. So I think that's a question we can ask as well.
And I will get in touch with the superintendent. He just started, is today Monday? Today he started. But let's give him a week, but I will definitely get in touch with him and have a meeting and try to see if we can't do some kind of danger stranger program. It's a great idea. And I also think we ought to try to reignite Neighborhood Watch. It was very active 15, 20 years ago, and I think it's fallen by the wayside. Everybody that was the captain had a sticker on their door, and all the kids knew that if they're walking down the street and something scared them, that they could go to that person's house, and it usually had to be a stay-at-home person. And I think where it fell apart was there were so many non-stay-at-home people anymore. Like, that's probably what happened.
When we were in school, we always had to have fire drills every month. The state, a couple of years ago, changed that, where there has to be so many fire drills, there has to be so many shelter places, there has to be so many lawn drills, so many different kinds of drills and shelter in place, just that help. It doesn't cover the kids that get into an area where you can stay from, so they are doing different kinds of drills all the time that are required by the law.
Okay.
But the reality is it may not be that person you're thinking of. It could be another street.
Correct.
For example, the guy in Vegas, no one seems to be saying that he was a likely candidate to do what he
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
did. So,
Well,
Right.
yes,
Moving on.
I guess, and we really need to move on, not necessarily that the subject matter is dead, because I believe that Maria would really like for you to reach out to the superintendent of schools and find out what kind of collaboration that we can have with our police department, maybe to have some sort of auditorium or some sort of assembly with that type of training that has been discussed.
Had it in schools when I was young, like a parents' commission member.
And-
Information, but I don't know if that happened. But I was going to, anyway, we had to talk to them.
I think that if you went to that registry, you might be surprised at who lives into your community, and I'll cut it from there. It's not just one individual in any given community, probably in my neighborhood or similar type situations. So, it's the world we live in. I would like to thank everybody for those comments. We take it very seriously. We hear you. We understand. I don't take it any lightly because it's on one side of the town and I'm on the other side of the town. It can happen anywhere. I like to think that we have one of the most proactive police departments and very proactive and progressive, and I'll just end there. Thank you. Any other public comment? Ms. Curran?
Situations that I know of where I live, years ago, watching your children, okay? And notice things that are happening to them. If you notice something that isn't right, or they can come from school, or they can come from a playground, take note and seriously take note of what they say to you or what they do. But always have someone in your block as a captain, like a block captain, as we used to have town watch, that we did a lot of things. We had a large group at one time, town watch. Make a town watch in your neighborhood about the people that you know and that you trust. I mean, there's not a lot of people that you trust. I know there's people that I do not trust with children. So be aware of your neighborhood and who lives there, but don't let your children, all of your children, be together, play together, be neighbors, and know who your neighbors are. With you, 100%.
Thanks, Jan.
Anyway, I just want to ask you one thing. The thing that disturbed me the most is how our township has grown throughout the years, and what has happened with our township in the last 10 years. I would like to see our township start looking with the open space funds that we have. Do we have any open space funds that I see parcels of ground, 10 acres, 24 acres, that you go to other townships and you see signs on the corner, saved by a development, might be 20 acres, might be more, saved by, with open space funds. Do we have open space funds to start looking at some of these areas that we have? We had the Wilmington County freeholders help us purchase the Lincoln Park, and I would like to see more open space. And the growth, can we stop what's happening now with affordable housing? And again, I say I have nothing against affordable housing. It's what's happening after affordable housing come in. Everyone deserves a place to live, and if they can afford it, they pay to have a house and realize what happens afterwards, what comes along with that affordable house. So I just would like to take some more, I would like to see people come in with thinking of where all these affordable housing are going, why they really got into our township with the developers, and the things that took place that's why we have affordable housing. I'm not against affordable housing, believe me. I know a lot of people through the years that live in our township. At one time, different organizations could go and help them. And then I was told that there's so many now that we can no longer do that. So there's going to be a lot of people in the future that are going to need help, and it's going to come from the taxpayers or, what is being paid for them. So again, like I said, for many years we did a lot of things for families that live here in West Hampton. Now all of a sudden we have, I think, Project Freedom was good for residents that need special need housing. And we have a lot of people in our township that can barely make it now, that need help, that purchased affordable housing and ended up in a situation where some of our residents know, and I happen to know them because I used to go to many of their houses at one time with different things that our township used to do. So I would like to see some more progress on open space. And I wanted to ask you, Mayor, and I know you had a program there on the 23rd, and what they're trying to do, and it takes a long time, I know that, and it's very important that they get on the New Jersey National Register, historic places. It takes a long time. Grand Cliffs Village became a Grand Cliffs Village historic district in 1975, and it took a long time for the people that are no longer here that did all this work and research to make it. So the village is what it is, and not too many people know the history of the village, but it is the center of West Hampton. It was once part of Willingboro. And we also had a former mayor and council person here tonight, and going back to when the township meetings were held at the where the police station is now. It's awesome to see him because he was one of our many farmers. So I grew up with many of the farmers. And I grew up in the township that I don't recognize anymore. I won't recognize anymore. And we keep doing what we're doing.
Okay.
And I was part when the 9-story hospital that came our way. And
We understand.
what is going to happen with the traffic situation. So, I mean, been to the county, I don't think to the county freeholders meeting. My goal is to get to the freeholders to find out what they're going to do with the Rowan property that is here in West Hampton. And also, I've been told that they're county roads and actually they're country roads. And so the traffic that's coming in West Hampton from all over, from Burlington, from Mount Holly, the county is doing a traffic count.
Janet? Yeah.
That's,
Janet?
coming out of Mount Holly.
Kevin.
Or something. The traffic is.
Janet, we're at 7 minutes, and I thank you. I said we're at 7 minutes on this, and I thank you for your concerns. I will allay some fears that I will tell you that this body is very hard at work with our engineers, looking at our open space, looking at where we can and what we cannot do. I will tell you in terms of affordable housing that we do have a requirement under Judge Bookbinder's looking at West Hampton right now and seeing what our commitment is, and we're legally mandated to have a certain number of homes, affordable homes in West Hampton Township. And I will tell you that Timbuktu just last week had its Timbuktu Day. It continues to be a great work in progress, and we're just waiting, imminently waiting for the designation to come down from the state to make it a historic district. And once that should happen, automatically it goes to the national, and it's looked at there. And my hope is that Timbuktu will one day become not only a state of New Jersey, but a historic landmark, historical in nature. So hopefully that kind of answered, and I can talk to you a little bit more offline, but I wanted to try to real quick synopsize some of the things that you gave us. Thank you. I think the last thing we talked about, right, I think the last thing we talked about was to have a joint meeting between Timbuktu and the Historical Society. So we'll look to make that happen. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Understood.
I grew up here, and I was here before a lot of people that are here.
Understood.
People here that have lived here a long time.
Understood.
I've been here since I grew up here. So.
Okay, thank you.
Timbuktu means a lot to me.
Understood.
And so does the village, so does Beachfield. We have many historic history.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Karen.
Thank you.
And there are not many people in here, and I'll stop.
Okay, thank you.
Really know about the village.
Understood.
So I can say that I would like to see progress and stop the warehouses and stop.
Okay.
Looking forward to the future.
Thank you, Ms. Karen.
What we already have.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
Where is this Timbuktu
Church Street?
It's Rancocas Road,
Church Street.
and Church Street. And as a matter of fact...
We have a big sign now that says Timbuktu.
As of a week ago. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. So when you're riding on Beverly Rancocas Road, on the right-hand side, going towards... Yes.
Right.
Now there's a sign that says Timbuktu, Church Street. You're welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You didn't give your address?
Former, any other public comment? Any other public comment? Former Mayor Nelson Gravatt is here tonight. Mayor, would you like to say anything? Okay. From one mayor to another, we thank you for your service, sir. There being no further public comment, we close the public comment. Chief, got anything?
I just want to congratulate and welcome for the Director Smith Public Works.
LT? Nothing? Fire Marshal? No problem tonight?
You're good?
Mr. Solicitor?
Nothing additional here, just welcome aboard to the new director, though.
Madam Administrator?
Congratulations, Parker. Look forward to working with you, and congratulations on your honor with Mayor Lopez.
Yes. Good
Thanks
stuff.
for the commission.
Madam Clerk?
No, nothing tonight.
Nothing?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I understand, sorry, it's my turn. Okay, I have nothing to say, then, good night.
Congrats to the new director.
Sir? No? Okay. Ma'am?
You cut me off, forget it.
Oh, no.
I have nothing to say, forget it.
No, it was professional's turn.
Okay.
It's now committee's turn. So I don't want to, you know,
I don't want to steal John's thunder because he always says it at the end. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, but I just want the people on Brighton Road to understand that we definitely have heard what you're saying. And our hands are tied, but Abe made a great suggestion. There's a couple of good suggestions. Something in the schools, something with the legislators, and a town watch. So that's all I have to say. Mr. Mayor Daniels.
thank you, Mayor.
John usually goes first.
John, we're sorry.
I don't have a problem going second, I'm sorry. I'd like to thank the residents for coming out, the department heads, keep up the good work. Good luck to Sergeant Caulfield for going down to Puerto Rico. Congratulations on the new Public Works Director, and that's it. Have a good night.
How did they go out?
Right? I mean,
Trish.
No, I have a few things. And actually, Janet, I was going to speak about Timbuktu, because the day was amazing. It was, not only was it a lovely day, but it was extremely educational. There were descendants that came from all over to visit the site, to actually talk about their ancestors. Then Guy Weston did a beautiful, beautiful explanation on the history of the town, well, the little village, and also talked about various families that actually still live there. And Guy Weston, his mother Mary, lives, it's the first house when you go on Church Street. They talked about how they used to pick blueberries and running through the fields. It was just amazing. I was so glad that I was a part of it. But I want to give a special thanks not only to the Timbuktu Committee for all the hard work that they're doing, but also to Maria Carrington, who just stepped up and organized a lot of things. Todd Mitzelman, who was our Director of Recreation, he just jumped in, stepped up, and helped with the event. And two other people on Public Works. I have to commend Lou LaRosa and Bruce Boone, who just put it all together. Well, actually did all the cutting, set up the area beautifully, set everything up, put it down, and actually stayed there and enjoyed the festivities as well. So two of your staff members, Parker. So it was amazing. So really, Janet, they are doing everything possible to get that on the National Historical Record. Also, I wanted to mention Sergeant Darrell Caulfield. Please, let's think about him and all the people in Puerto Rico that have been affected by this catastrophic event. Keep them in our thoughts and prayers and hope that they would be safe. And one other thing, Parker, I want to thank you for accepting and wanting to be a part of West Hampton. Congratulations and welcome. I think your knowledge and expertise will really benefit the town. So, and for our fellow residents, our hearts go out to you. We all have children, and we know exactly how you're feeling, and I wish there was something that we could do. But I think through conversation and such today, we have a few ideas of what can be done and what we can do individually. And thank you for coming out.
Hey, I'll be brief.
Right.
Just want to thank you all for coming. Thank you for all the residents that have reached out. There was about a week and a half, we didn't know where our family was, both on my side and my wife's family. By the grace of God, my family, they're doing well. Unfortunately, my wife's side, they've lost everything, 2 homes, 2 cars. So it is what it is. They're alive. We thank God for that. There's a lot of folks in need of dialysis right now that can't have a dialysis. There's a lot of people who need insulin, who have no access to insulin. So our family's alive. We have a lot to be thankful for. So thank you for all of you that have reached out and offered help and prayers. We appreciate that. For the residents that are here, not only that live in Torrancefield, but throughout the town, because the concern is much greater than Torrancefield. Feel free to check on me next month, this time, or the next meeting, 2 weeks from now. We'll have another meeting. And my action item that I leave with tonight is to check with our local legislators and to see if we can get one that will sympathize with this enough that they'll sponsor legislation to ensure that every single resident is required for Tier 2 offenses. So you have my word. Check with me in the next committee meeting. Hold me accountable. That's all.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. To Parker Smith, welcome aboard and congratulations. Please keep one of our own, Sergeant Caulfield, in our hearts and prayers. To the residents who brought the issue to us tonight, I echo the sentiments that have already been constructed and put forth, quite frankly. Just a whole lot going on. I like to cite a gentleman by the name of Troy Green. He had an opportunity to work with us by way of our police department, and I think he was an individual who just simply said that I was tired of seeing all of the conversation and talk, and he mustered up a whole cadre of friends that brought everything from water to you name it, and was able to get a private plane into Puerto Rico to deliver many things over there. And I think that's really what this country has become. Good people just stepping up and doing whatever they have to do to help communities all over. And last but not least, Committeewoman Talisa spoke to it, but Timbuktu Day was truly one of the best. As an outgoing mayor, I was proud that I was able to, by way of proclamation, highlight and just the work of all of the committee members that I was not able to get 2 years ago. We did that. I was very proud of the fact that the chairman, Guy Weston, took it upon himself, unbeknownst to me and former Mayor Carolyn Chang, and cited us by way of proclamation, a joint resolution from the New Jersey Senate and Assembly. It truly left me humbled. The work of Timbuktu continues. It's a community that is truly rich in its history and has undoubtedly added to the footprint of what is West Hampton Township, a community that was started some circa 1820, 1826. Some say even earlier, before that predates even West Hampton Township. And the highlight that day was we had an opportunity to honor Judge Murray. Judge Murray was a staple in the community. He actually built by hand the church down there on the corner of Church and Cocos. And one of the, Gail Freeman, a good friend of mine, and I was unaware when I met her, that she was actually a granddaughter of Judge Murray, simply said that, I didn't realize it then, but I realize it now, that we were living in paradise. And she just imparted that to me. And then Judge Murray's sister got up and delivered, if you understand what I mean, the old folk way, if you will, rendering of life in Timbuktu and how from then to now and how that family made it. I think that it left us all impassioned, and quite frankly, it moved me. I don't think I have anything else to maybe forget something. Okay. I'd like to thank you all once again for coming out tonight, and please be safe in your travels going home, and we look forward to seeing you here at our next Township Committee meeting. I will accept the motion to adjourn.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.